Hello everyone, welcome back to the channel and welcome back to Microsoft Flight Simulator. Today we are going to be looking at we're actually going to be looking at 6 of the 7 natural wonders of the world in the sim and how the sim represents them, if it does represent them at all. The reason I say 6 of the 7 is because the first one on our list is the Aurora Borealis, which, despite my efforts prior to even coming up with the idea for this video, I have yet to be able to see. I've seen other people do videos of it, so I know that they exist. I just haven't been as lucky. So we're going to look at the rest of this list, starting with the Grand Canyon. So without further ado, let's begin. And those of you who have been around the channel before know we've seen the Grand Canyon before when I was talking about handcrafted versus Bing Maps auto-generated scenery, and we know that the Grand Canyon is by far one of the best looking and lowest performing pieces of scenery in the sim. It is absolutely fantastic. Ignoring the actual cityscape and the buildings and all of that, which we've seen before, the Grand Canyon itself is a true wonder to behold. I have been near to it, but I've not seen all of the big hot spots like what we're looking at now. And I really want to get out to here before I kick the bucket one day. For our other non-handcrafted items, we will be going and giving reviews. Obviously, the Grand Canyon would outdo them all because, again, it was that handcrafted piece. This was the piece of scenery, if you, again, haven't seen that original video I was talking about, where the big names in Flight Sim were taken out and flown out to Vegas, and the Grand Canyon was one of the areas that they got to look at. But even from a distance, it looks good, and when you get really up close and personal, things look even better. And the only real downside of this scenery is the performance hit. Just because everything is so high fidelity, you get a much bigger performance hit than you would on other scenery this scale. But it looks amazing. The Grand Canyon here in the United States of America. Next, we're going to be heading out off the coast of Australia, I believe, and we're going to take a look at the Great Barrier Reef. I will see you guys there. Into view just over the horizon is none other than the Great Barrier Reef, as well as a little activity platform I'm hoping we can maybe touch down on, although it's potentially slim. The Great Barrier Reef itself is not marked as a point of interest in the sim, but this platform is, so you can still find it relatively easily with your search function in the sim. You can see that lighter color water there is the barrier reef itself. We're going to scoot down just a little bit in altitude here, but get some of that wave action. One thing I have noticed is the water around here seems to just, I don't know. So you've got like that deep blue void there, and then whatever this is here. Again, I think this is satellite imagery of the waves overlaid on top of water. Again, they gotta cut. It's just lazy. And again, if you've got a point of interest right here, and you know people are going to be flying around, do the same amount of effort with the water here at the Great Barrier Reef as you would do in, I don't know, San Francisco Bay or something, right? It's got waves, the water is active, and you can see none of this satellite stuff. Now, I'll forgive it for the Barrier Reef because you would see stuff underneath it because it's shallow water, but for all of that darker water, it just needs to be deep, dark water. All Alright, let's try and find somewhere to land. So we've got a boat there that's definitely not going to support us, and whatever the heck this thing is. Think we can set down there? I see one place maybe. Gonna try it. Would be a tail rotor strike if we were in a real helicopter. I'm gonna call that good. Do a quick reposition, just ignore the fact that my main rotor blade is chopping through that aerial. Let's hop out. Get burned by my turbine exhaust. I mean, I think it's okay. So stuff like this seam right here, again, if this is a point of interest, you really should have that a little bit better cleaned up. Is there a way for me to get down safely? Is there a way for me to get down not safely? Is there any way for me to get down from here? World's roughest touchdown. So you can see the depth of the water there on the side of my R66, but it doesn't look that deep here, which again I would expect. And I mean, there's no reef texture. This is just generic shallow water texture. Oh, my shadow pop. Cool. Just generic shallow water texture with like a blue tint to it. And the platform's floating, but whatever. We'll sorry, just walked through my tail rotor. Let's try see if we can gain some altitude here. And a better bird's eye view. You know, I think at altitude it actually almost looks worse. Yeah, it really kind of does. I mean, you see a little bit more detail of what the reef looks like from the satellite imagery. But again, as far as your exploration factor goes, I think this is going to be a swing and a miss. Swing and a miss. Yeah, Great Barrier Reef's not getting it. Not even when compared to the Grand Canyon, just in general. Right, next we are off to Rio de Janeiro in Brazil. Catch you guys there. Want to see me do a flip? I don't think you can do that in a real R66. And welcome to Rio de Janeiro. Interesting, on the Wikipedia page, it says specifically the harbor. It doesn't say anything about Christ the Redeemer off to our right. It's just the harbor. And I'm not entirely sure geographically where that is. So like there's a harbor here, but I don't see like any docks or anything. So would you count this as a harbor? It looks like a harbor. It's very scenic, very nice looking. But that area off of our tail could be a harbor. And that area over there could be a harbor. So I'm not entirely certain. I debated on trying to recreate that opening splash screen video with the Airship 600, but I couldn't be bothered. That thing is so slow. So we'll take a quick whistle stop tour. I like how I said it's too slow as I'm doing 60 knots in a helicopter. Speed it up a little bit here and take a look at some of the iconic parts of Rio. Obviously, we're going to start here with Christ the Redeemer. And I mean, at altitude, the city looks good. Up close, Christ the Redeemer looks good. I certainly have no complaints. I like the detail of the, I'm not sure if those are broadcast towers or radio towers in the background there as well. I'm going to try to set down on the footpath here. Anyway, here is Christ the Redeemer, looking very, very good, if I do say so myself. Looking very, very good indeed. I was also clicked out of my flight sim window there. It's good, this is what you want. This is what you come here for. Anyway, let's continue our tour here. Obviously, all this stuff's kind of low poly. I don't think they expect you to land a helicopter up here. So let's make a decision here. Do we want to go to the right where the harbor is, where that's supposed to be the alleged landmass? You know what? We'll do both. We'll do both. I'll just cut. I'll cut the video. See you guys down there in the harbor in just a minute. All right, completing a over 3,000 foot per minute descent into the harbor of the wonders of the world. How did Flight Sim do? Terrible. Unfortunate. Looks like there's is this a horse racing track with autogen buildings, I'm assuming, in the middle that probably shouldn't be there. And again, this is not my list. This is, for reference, that list is compiled off of Wikipedia. So, and it was from a, I guess, a list that CNN put together. Needless to say, I'm not impressed at all with what Flight Sim's done. Again, I mean, look at all. That's a swimming pool down there. There was lots of opportunity here. Now, I'm not saying that they need to sit here and handcraft one-of-one buildings. I think my biggest complaint is the fact that the buildings that... Oh, look, there's a helipad there I could have taken off from, except it's not modeled. My biggest complaint is the fact that the satellite imagery is not taken off when it probably should be for stuff. I think that's my... Yeah, that is my biggest complaint with a lot of these. That was my complaint in the Bay Area Reef. That's my complaint now. I think that'll be my complaint in a couple of the other things as well. Let's go to the other side of the city and take a look at that football stadium. All right, making a little bit more progress. There is... I don't know if you would quite call this a favela, but that looks very good. I like that. The hillside community there. Yeah, it's just a lack of consistency. So all of this looks fairly good. I mean, there's some obvious issues like what's below us there now. Like, this looks okay. I don't understand why they couldn't have done that with the other side. Where's my... Yeah, look at downtown. What I'm going to call downtown, because I've never been to Rio. Here's the airport. God, I can't fly the darn externally. Completely lost sight on that football stadium. Oh well, we'll it's downtown, and maybe this is the harbor they were talking about. Just looking at the proximity of Christ the Redeemer. I want to say that this is a church. Big cone-shaped building. Yeah. And there's a helipad. The X-helipad. There's another helipad. Another helipad. So there we go. So what do we give Rio de Janeiro? This side of the city definitely gets the sample seal of decency. I would like to see it expanded. Because again, you get stuff like that. Look at that. That's a perfect prime opportunity. That looks like, I don't know if it's a proper Capitol building, but it looks like it based on, you know, my obvious American architecture knowledge. It's like, why wasn't that modeled? Right? Again, you have the point of interest, Christ the Redeemer, in the sim. Same thing with the train. I'm assuming what's a train station? Oh. I may just gently clip that tree there. So much for seeing a void. Overall, I think it's okay. I still stand by my original mantra of I think you're going to have the best time in the sim if you stay out of cities and stay rural. That's kind of has been my vibe in the sim so far, and I think it's going to stay that way. So next we're going across continents again to Mount Everest. We'll see you guys there. Want to see me do a flip in this? I don't know if I can. Oh boy. We're super low on altitude also. Let's try it. Ready? 3, 2, 1. Didn't like it. But she... Oh, this was... Look at... Dude, this is perfect. This is the football stadium I was on about. I don't think it's a football stadium. It's not a football stadium. It is on the map. Look at the tablet. Yeah, you look at that tablet and you tell me that's not a football stadium. And where's the other building? Oh. A Sobo. This is lazy. You put in the custom church. You put in Christ the Redeemer. All of those other fancy buildings, and you didn't get the football stadium right? Here. Welcome to somewhere along the Chinese and Nepal border. Taking the Blackbird simulation CH-47 up to the summit of Mount Everest today. We started at the base camp. Gonna whiz up there in just a jiffy. Still trucking along, coming up to the summit now. Obviously there's not a whole lot as far as Delhi. It's just a snow-capped mountain. But the rock ridgelines that we do see look pretty dang good, if I do say so myself. Little CH-47 using all of its available horsepower to get us to the summit. This is about as good of an LZ as we're going to get here. Really hard for me to see what is and isn't solid ground, but nonetheless, I believe that's the summit of Everest there. You get the idea for a, like I said before, I mean, for basically just mountainous terrain, I think it looks fine. Not on the same level as the Grand Canyon, but it wasn't handcrafted, so not a lot else to hang around and see. Glacial flow down there off to the right. We'll see if we can find our next next wonder. Might be a little bit searching on my end, but that's okay. I'm happy to do that for you guys. So, if all goes well, I will see you guys in Mexico in just a little bit. And welcome to Mexico. We're just southeast of Guadalajara. And there is our next natural wonder. I'm going to mispronounce this, but it's Paracolton, I believe. A circular volcano. And it's here, but it's definitely not... I wouldn't call this a premium experience. We'll get slowed down here a little bit. I guess we can actually set down somewhere. Get a closer look. We're down safely nonetheless. All that good. Let's hop out of the cockpit here. So yeah, we've got trees growing in the crater of this volcano now. I put it up here on Google Maps, and I'm not seeing any vegetation. This looks like it very well might be an active volcano. Oh, dude, there's trees. Oh, there's trees. Well, no, there's trees going up to the... No, here's the crater. There's no tree. There's a little bit of grass. Maybe, I don't know. Is that a tree? This is what we get in the sim. Is it great? No. You know, it's interesting. I see in a lot of cases with riverbeds, the satellite imagery of riverbeds will be dark. So you'll see like a dark strip of land, but then like a really narrow band of actual water. I'm surprised that we don't have just darker satellite imagery of this crater hole here. Let's head to Zimbabwe and look at our last item for the day. Oh, wait, hold on. You guys want to see a flip? Just keeping the trend alive. You guys want to see a flip? I really don't think this is going to work. This thing's heavy. Ready, ready, ready. You're rolling to the right. Oh. Okay, it kind of did it. No, it kind of did it. Do a flip. Yeah, okay. Rolls, definitely not advisable. Which, to be fair, none of the other rotorcraft that we tried to move. Let's go to Zimbabwe. And welcome to our final wonder, and possibly, from what I'm seeing in front of me now, the most disappointing Victoria Falls. Yep. There it is. Wonder of the world. And just looks like a gigantic terrain glitch in the sim. Do not love that. Don't love that one bit. Wow, that's atrocious. Now, I will say, Microsoft Flight Simulator, and look at the scenery, the satellite imagery off to the right, left rather. Stand by. It's right off the nose. Now, that's waterfall. It's not as bad as that. This looks like a wall of water. Boy, what a letdown. I'm sure there's mods on flightsim.to, but for someone to think that this was okay to release. Wow. Just wow. This looks like a giant tsunami. This is abysmal. Alright, well, sorry for the letdown. And that's unfortunately the end of our list. I still have yet to be able to find any Aurora. And the bridges around here look terrible. And they have PO, not the falls itself isn't a POI, but they've got a bunch of heliports for the Victoria Falls like resort and stuff like that. I mean, again, this is an internationally known piece of landscape. Landscape sounds weird. Water feature? No, I don't know what you would call it. Landmark wonder. The word wonder sounds kind of silly to me, but by definition, that's what it is. And look, you got the big. Yeah, this is not it. I'm sorry. What on earth is going on, this dude? No, sir. No, sir. Okay, well, I think that's gonna do it for this video. Yeah. Really have much else to say. What was our winner for today? Obviously the Grand Canyon. What was second after that? Probably Rio, then Mount Everest. I don't remember the other two. Well, this was one of them. This is the worst by far. Oh, the Great Barrier Reef. Yeah, Great Barrier Reef second to this only because it's lacking detail and not just atrociously modeled. So that's the end. I will catch you guys in the next video. Thank you very much for watching this one. I do dearly appreciate it. And we'll see you in the next one. But until then, as always, take it easy. Ooh. Want to see me do a flip? Possibly the worst one so far. Possibly the worst one so far. You know what? The worst flip or the worst piece of scenery. You should be ashamed, Microsoft. Love is waiting. Love is waiting.